welcome back to the Digressor. I almost didn't record tonight because, I went to go record a couple hours ago, and apparently the last episode I did with the mic, which was not the last episode with Emery, which was recorded over Zoom, but the one before it. When I was done, I forgot to plug it into the charger, the microphone. And not only that, it's fine if I just forget to plug it in, because it's got a really long charge on this mic. I don't actually have to charge it every time. The problem is that I forgot to turn it off. That became the problem. So I had to charge it. Normally normally I try to record like 11, midnight, around then. It's 3 in the morning. So, yeah. And also, this is my first time recording since I did a little rearranging. I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro. So now I have all 3 of the last generation consoles. I have an Xbox One S, a Nintendo Switch, and a PlayStation 4 Pro. My computer, it was on the table. I had a table. I had the computer, the Switch, and the Xbox on a table. Little table. It couldn't fit one more thing. And the computer wouldn't fit underneath, so I had to buy a new table that was open underneath so I could put the computer. So all 3 of the consoles are on the table, and the computer's on the floor, which, it works. It actually looks better than before. It's less cluttered. The problem is that even though it's technically the same distance away, the cord for the microphone is in a different position, so I don't really have free range anymore. I'm kind of leaning forward to record this, and I don't like it. Before I continue, okay, so I think I mentioned at one point I have a Patreon. I don't really advertise it because I don't expect anyone to do it. It's $1 a month, and the only perk I could think to do was access to a Discord server, which I made, and no one's going to do that because there's nobody on the Discord server. I actually forgot. I forgot I had it. I actually uninstalled Discord, and the friend was like, "Do you have Discord?" I was like, "Oh yeah, hang on, let me reinstall that real fast." So I have Patreon. Don't expect anyone to do it. On top of that, the other day I keep hearing other podcasts talk about buy me a coffee. I made one of those, and it had a thing where you can name make a name of the thing. I don't really know. I literally spent like 5 minutes setting it up. But you can name the tier or the whatever, and I was like, hey, what should I call my fans? I asked Emery, and I was like, what should I call my fans that I don't have, because no one listens to this. And so we were talking about that for a while, and I settled on Ramblers. So yeah, I don't have any fans, but if I do, I'm going to start calling them Ramblers, because I ramble, whatever. But that was just a fun little thingy. Anyway, so wait, where'd my phone go? Oh yeah, I set it down. I set it in a different spot. Today's episode is about unpopular opinions. I decided that I was going to talk about... Oh, no, the cord to the microphone is stuck on something. There we go. I do not like this setup. I need a wireless mic. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the topic of today's episode is unpopular opinions. And I have a list here that a couple friends helped me make, because I thought of the first 3 and I was like, I don't know what else to do. And then I messaged a friend of mine and one of my best friends, and was like, can you help me? They know me better than anyone, and also sent it to Emery, but they didn't respond in time. uh, but yeah, the my sister and the other friend knows me well enough. They immediately were like, this, and this, and I was like, right. So, okay, so I was originally going to make a list of things that I like that other people don't like, and things that I don't like that other people do like. The reason I decided to not do the second thing was because I was thinking of there were I was going to give examples of the things I wrote, but I wrote down things that I didn't like, and I was going to go on a couple of them. I was going to go on rants about why I didn't like them. Then I'm thinking I'm sure there's people that I know there one of them I know for a fact people are very passionate about liking it, and it's a very personal thing. It's a country singer, but it's who it is. A lot of people are angry, defensive about this person, and I'm not a big fan. And I figured, instead of doing a post about basically attacking things I don't like, I'm just gonna discuss things that I do like, because I'd rather agree about something, and because my well, there was a thing on here that the friend and I really agreed on, but I'll get to that. Okay, so the first thing, unpopular opinion. I already talked about this in my second episode. Star Wars. Everyone likes Star Wars. Not everyone likes all of Star Wars. I like all of Star Wars. I like the original trilogy. I like the prequels. I like the sequels. I like everything Disney has done, and is doing. I just embrace Star Wars as Star Wars. I don't get caught up in, well, in the comics they did this, and I don't like what they did to Luke Skywalker's character, and they did this and that, and I don't like that, and calling for Kathleen Kennedy to be fired and everything. That's going a little crazy. Yeah, you can't have everything you want. Yeah, the sequels could have been better, the prequels could have been better, but the original trilogy could have been better too. Everything could have been better. The Mandalorian could have been better, but they're great. All of them are great. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and if Ryan Johnson does a new Star Wars, like they're talking about him having his own trilogy, guess what? I'm gonna be in line to watch that because I love Star Wars. I don't care what it is. If it's officially released, I'm consuming it because it's Star Wars. I don't care. I love it. I'm kind of the same way with gaming. I was talking to someone about that the other day. They were like, well, why did you get a PlayStation if you already have an Xbox? Aren't you betraying your whatever? And I was like, no, I'm a gamer. I like gaming. I don't care what platform it's on. If it's a game, I want to play it. To an extent, there are games I don't want to play. I'm not into. And there was some game, I said, there was a list of things. There's some of I'm not a big fan of Madden. That's one of the things that I was gonna put on the unpopular opinion. I'm not a big fan of Madden, but I took that off the list because I don't like Madden because I don't like sports, and that's why I have tried playing it. I've tried playing Madden. Since I don't like sports, I'm not really into football. I don't really know much about it. You have to have knowledge about football to play Madden, because I'm not a big fan of skateboarding, but I'm a huge fan of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I love those games, but I'm not a big fan of skateboarding. Not to say I hate it, oh, I don't like skateboarding. No, I've seen some people do some really cool things. It's I don't like watching it because it's not my thing. It's really impressive some of the things people can do. It's not my thing. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, amazing game. So I'm thinking, with that logic, every 10 years or so, I try Madden. Just to try it. And I tried Madden 2008, 10 years ago, and It was boring. I couldn't get into it. And then a couple of years ago, I tried 2018, Madden 18, and yeah, it's even more complicated. Like I had no idea what I was doing because you have to like pick out your plays that you're doing, and like you gotta know the teams and the roster and everything. I have no idea what I'm doing. I got an achievement. I don't even know what I did. I somehow got an achievement. I was like, okay, okay. Just winging it. But when it comes to stuff like that, like if there's a game I'm playing and I'm not getting into it, like I usually do this with the Xbox games with gold thing, with the free games. If they have a game out and I'm not really into it, I always play until I get an achievement. So therefore, it's like I'm not completely wasting my time. It adds to my gamer score. So, um, but yeah, like I got the achievement on Madden, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll stop here. I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, why did I get on this? Said I wasn't gonna talk about the things that I didn't like. Um, but like with Star Wars, meh, no, I don't know how I got onto that. I went to Madden from Star Wars. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. Oh yeah, the second thing, unpopular opinion, I love Peeps. I know a lot of people hate them. Every time people see me eat them, they're like, "How can you eat that disgusting garbage?" And I stick it in my mouth and chew it, and I go like this. I even did a video a few years ago. That trend, the how to eat whatever, and they throw it in the trash. And I did a video how to eat Peeps, and I was like, okay, I'm here to do a how-to video on how to eat Peeps because I see a lot of people making how-to eat videos, and I had made sure like there was a packet of Peeps and there was a trash can underneath the little table, and I was like making sure to get them both in focus. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate how to eat a Peep, the proper way to eat a Peep. I picked it up, I hovered it over the trash can, turned the camera, put it in my mouth. Yeah, so that's my kind of humor. I like Peeps, okay? Leave me alone. I'm only on the second item. There's probably things on here that people are going to really attack me over. One of them being this one. Going back to gaming, I think I am the only person in the world who actually likes the game Enter the Matrix. I played and beat it on the PlayStation 2 like 12 years ago, and I played it through twice because there's two characters, and I forget which ones were. It was the side characters from the movie, and it's like two different story paths, and you get to play them both. They intersect. Like there's one, or like you're like fighting off agents so that the other character can do a stealth mission on the other side of the complex. And then when you play it again, you do the stealth mission while you're interacting with the other person, like, hey, I'm gonna shoot out here, or whatever. And I love the game. I love the the atmosphere of it, and the gameplay and everything was really fun. The bullet time. A lot of people said they hated it because the graphics were terrible. Yeah, the graphics weren't the greatest, but it's PlayStation 2. And it's a Matrix game. It actually kind of feeds into the whole this isn't reality thing. Like the graphics, it's kind of like I haven't played it in 12 years. I'm trying to remember. It's like rubber bandy feeling, and like it's very dark atmosphere, and it's very Matrixy. And I loved it. Every time I mention it, I get this weird look, and people go, "Are you sure?" Like, yes, I am sure. Actually, I'm curious. Is it available anywhere? I want to play it now that I have let's see, on I don't know. Oh crap! No, I I did search article, not search Wikipedia. Enter the Matrix. There it is. It's a 2003 game. Let's see. Let's check the event thing. Platforms: GameCube, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. Which means it is possible it can be available for backwards compatibility, or it might be on Steam. I don't know. I am going to look here. I really want to play it again. And what was really interesting, and I was not expecting, I looked up when I first got I got the PS4 Pro last week. In fact, when Emery and I did the episode last week, I had just got it a couple days before, and I was gonna mention, I was gonna turn the camera and point it at him, like, look what I got, but I forgot. So I also forgot to mention I was wearing a shirt that Reverie True Crime. I was wearing her shirt. I was gonna like kind of shout her out, like, look what I'm wearing, but I completely forgot that too. I tagged her in the when I posted the episode. I'm like, oh, and I forgot to mention Reverie's in it. Kind of her shirt is, but anyway. So like when I got the PlayStation 4, I was looking in the store to I was gonna buy a bunch of games. I went on my next payday after I got it. I went on a PS store shopping spree, and I bought a bunch of games. And I looked up Grand Theft Auto. I was planning on buying Grand Theft Auto 5, which I did. But they also had San Andreas and Vice City, which I was surprised. Because a lot of games they have on there, it'll have them listed, but it'll say PS Now, which I don't have the signal strength for that for my hotspot. So because you don't actually download the games, you stream them, which is stupid. And I saw them listed, and I was like, oh, okay, well, and I looked, it said PS4, which means you can buy and download them to the PlayStation. I bought them both. And you can buy San Andreas on Xbox One, and it's the Xbox 360 version, which has updated controls and the menu system and everything. And I was surprised when I launched San Andreas and Vice City. PS2. I was like, what? Oh wow! Seeing that logo and hearing that noise, it was like a shot to the nostalgia. I was like, oh come on, why are you doing this? So it's possible. Actually, there's a PlayStation app. I'm gonna look for Enter the Matrix on here because I really want to play that. Okay, here's a PlayStation Store. Where is this search? There has to be a... Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom. Let's see. Enter the Matrix. There we go. Enter... Okay. There. The first result is Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. The second result is Shadow of the Colossus. Neither of which are what I was talking about. Okay, I'm going to take the word the... Actually, I'm going to do a search for Matrix. Because apparently the word the is really throwing it off for some reason. That's not the word I was expecting to be... okay, there were no games with the word Matrix in it. That's unfortunate. Okay, never mind. I am upset now. Oh, I also have the Steam app on my phone. I'm going to search Steam for Enter the Matrix. Using the voice to text thing because it's easier than typing. Enter the Matrix. Okay, search. Enter the Dragon. Close. It's even closer than the PlayStation cut. Alright, I'm not going to look on Xbox because I'm sure I would have seen it by now. Every now and then I look on the, they have a Wikipedia page, the backwards compatible games on Xbox One, and I check that every so often for a bunch of games, and that's one of them, and they don't have it, so. Okay, so the fourth thing on the list here, Trolls. I like Trolls. No, not internet trolls, the movie Trolls. When they first announced it, I thought, oh, this is just a kiddie game. It's just a kiddie movie. It's for little babies. I'm past. And then, summer 2019, a really good friend of mine told me it was her favorite movie, and I was like, really? And she was like, you need to watch it. And yeah, so shows how much I trust her. I watched it. I couldn't find it streaming, so I actually rented it on YouTube, and I loved it. So much so that when they announced the sequel shortly afterwards, ironically enough, I was excited. I sent her the link, and she was excited. We were both nerding out, and yeah, and I saw the sequel, and it's even better than the first one. I loved it. Of course, when I tell people, they're like, "Your taste in movies suck." And apparently, it's controversial to like trolls because it's. Uh, okay, so I have a friend that told me that I only like things if nobody else likes them, and I hate anything that everybody likes because there's popular movies and shows that I'm like, meh. And he was like, "You're just a hipster." No, 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 no. I like a lot of things a lot of people like, and I dislike a lot of things a lot of people dislike. There's just a few like I don't just automatically like something because everybody else likes it, or automatically dislike it because everyone else dislikes it. With the exception of the Emoji Movie, I've never seen it. I don't intend to. I have never seen a single positive thing said about it. Um, I do plan on eventually watching it, but that's only if like I'm stuck in a room with no internet and there's a DVD player with one DVD and it's the Emoji Movie. So I mean, like, if that ever happens, I'll watch it. But like, I don't plan on watching it. The next thing is this is a big one. I get criticized a lot for this. I like Nickelback. I'm not one of those like die hard, know everything about them, go to every concert fans, or like wholeheartedly defend them and die on this hill. It's actually I don't think they're as hated as people say, because the internet's like, oh, they're the most hated band in history. Everybody hates them, but like I don't know, like their sales are still really good. I saw an interview where I don't remember it was like late night or something. Uh, the interviewer asked them, "What are your thoughts on the internet hate?" And Chad Kroger was like, "Well, our numbers say differently, so it doesn't really affect us." They still get a lot of sales and their concerts sell out and actually I have a friend that told me that really good friend of mine who helped me. She mentioned she mentioned Nickelback, and she asked me if I saw that they had a sea shanty of Rockstar, and it's amazing. See, I thought it was going to be hilarious. It is funny, but it's still really good. I wasn't expecting it. They did like a sea shanty cover of Rockstar, changing some of the lyrics. It's really good. Um, my sister said this one. It was one of the first ones she said, because she knows me so well. Adam Sandler movies. And when I say that, you probably know exactly what I mean. There's a certain era that he went through. Because, like, if I say, oh, I love Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Waterboy, Wedding Singer, 51st Dates, everyone's going to say, well, yeah, everyone loves those. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, I love those, but I think I'm the only one that liked Jack and Jill. That's My Boy, Pixels, all of those. Like, those were amazing. Like, they weren't the best. Like, Adam Sandler did say in an interview that what he does is when he picks a location, basically it's a vacation for him. Like that's why like 51st Dates was in Hawaii. Like they vacationed in Hawaii while they shot the film. Or if he wants to go somewhere fancy, like he'll say, hey, let's go to this place, and they'll film there. And so to him, he's not even trying. It's the vacation to him. And yeah, some of his movies aren't the greatest ever made, but they're still enjoyable. It's like sci-fi original movies. They know what they are. They're not trying to be the next Citizen Kane. So, and that's actually a really good transition because um, I decided to leave this one in. I said I'm not gonna. I took out all the things that I didn't like that people liked. I left in Citizen Kane. It's considered by critics. It used to be considered the greatest film ever made, and I watched it, and it was so boring. I I don't know how it got that distinction. It I couldn't. I sat through the whole thing, but I almost couldn't. I started to doze off halfway through, and I'm like, get to the story, get to the story, and then it ended, and I'm like, oh, was that like a 3 hour epic? No, no, that was a normal length film. And then nothing even happened. I mean, things happened, but they weren't interesting at all. It was boring, and luckily they revoted and they've now decided that Vertigo is the greatest film of all time. And I have to agree with that. I love Vertigo. It's one of my favorite films. In fact, I have what I call the Hitchcock trilogy. And I know he has a whole bunch of films. I've seen a bunch of them. But my three favorite Hitchcock films are Vertigo, Rear Window, and Psycho. Those three films are amazing. And I used to watch them back to back all the time. Not that it like formed a narrative or anything, or you get a bigger message if you watch them together. I don't even think they were released in that order. Uh, it's just those are my three favorites, and in my mind, they go together because they're the three best. And the next one is, this is what I was saying. The Hobbit. That really good friend who's helping me. I told her I would rather talk about things that we agree on than, because like I mentioned the country singer that I didn't like, and she said that she loves that singer, and I said, see, exactly, I could tell you why I didn't like her, and we could argue, or we can talk about The Hobbit because we both know we like The Hobbit. And she says, I think I prefer agreeing. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm not saying who that singer is. The Hobbit, the movie trilogy. I'm actually gonna read what I said to her. Okay. Wait, where'd it go? Well, we have talked a while. Oh, okay. It wasn't as long as I thought it was. I was looking for a long message, and it's only 4 lines. Yeah, they added to it from his other. So I can't read this. I can't even read my own handwriting, and it's typed. Yeah, they added. I should probably put my glasses on. That might help. I took my glasses off because I wasn't doing anything. Okay. Yeah, they added to it from his other sources, so there's more story than had they just adapted the book into one movie. Yeah, I had to look that up. I know I said something, I didn't remember what I said. But basically, yeah, like, people were complaining, oh, this wasn't in the book, that wasn't in the book, they added this, what the heck was this, blah, 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 blah. But we got more story than had they just adapted the book, because now we got 3 stories, 3 movies instead of 1, and they added from his other sources, because he wrote, like, he had notebooks full of, like, other stuff, and he had other works that he had written, fleshing out Middle Earth, and they added that into this movie, these movies, to make them a more broader story, which I know it was probably it's a smaller story, and it's meant to be a smaller story, so just make it one movie. But wouldn't you like a more grander story? Because like we started out with Lord of the Rings, this big epic, and then they're gonna follow it up with a smaller story. I mean, granted, The Hobbit it's not a prequel to Lord of the Rings. It came first, and then he wrote Lord of the Rings later. But because they did the Lord of the Rings first in the movies, it'd be kind of a letdown if they followed it up with a smaller story. So, I don't know. Just personally, I liked it. I know a lot of people hated it, but this friend here, she's read like everything Tolkien ever wrote, and she loved it. So, I trust her. Okay, so this next one, it's another one. I didn't take this one off either. I know comedy is suggestive. I actually had 3 comedians listed that I didn't find funny. 3 popular comedians that I don't find funny. But I left one of them because I really don't find him funny. And people always get upset when I say that. Dane Cook. When he first started, I've seen some of his work from when he first started, and he was funny. And then he noticed that the vulgar and disgusting jokes got the more laughs, and then that's all he did. All he does is vulgar humor, and if you have to be vulgar to be funny, you're not funny. That's just my opinion. And yeah, like that's then people, you just don't know comedy. You don't have a sense of humor. And then, yeah, like, I said that to a coworker about a year ago, and he's like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example of how genius his comedy is. He pulled up a bit that Jane Cook did in one of his stand-up routines, whatever, and he was like going through, like, he had sex with this girl, and then this happened. He's basically play-by-play of what happened, and like in extreme graphic detail, and the audience is roaring with laughter, and I'm like, how is this funny? This is just vulgar. Like, oh, this is classic. You just don't know comedy. No, I just don't like that comedy. Yeah. Okay, these, wait, Emery did say one, like, after I'd already saved the file. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Emery sent me one, and I was, okay, I remember now. Emery said pineapple on pizza, because pineapple does go on pizza. But again, it's not one of those, die on this hill type things. I think all of that started, it was an internet, like the internet trying to start drama type thing, because pineapple's always gone on pizza. It's not a new thing. It's like, oh, these dang millennials. No, I remember when I was a little kid, we ordered pizza and there was pineapple on it, and it wasn't a big deal. It was just a topping. And all of a sudden, one day, the internet was like, pineapple doesn't go on pizza. This is outrageous. And then, like, people were making stands and making a big deal out of it, and pizza's always had pineapple on it. I think, actually, I was curious one time. It's called Hawaiian pizza. I think it was invented in the 80s, and no one made a fuss about it. I think it started in Canada. Hey, Google, where was Hawaiian pizza invented?
Ontario. According to Wikipedia, Sam Panopoulos claimed that he created the first Hawaiian pizza at the Satellite Restaurant in Chatham, Ontario, Canada in 1962.
Okay, a little older than I thought. But still, exactly, 1962, that's over 50 years ago. Almost 60 years ago, I think. And, yeah, no one made a fuss about it until like 6 years ago. So, it's just internet wanting drama. So these next two, they came along. My sister and I were talking about it, and yeah, they kind of go together. People are always on the list of worst songs ever made. You know, I don't understand this. Some of the songs on the list I understand, but then number one is usually "We Built This City." by Starship, I think. Hey Google. Hey Google. Play We Built This City.
Playing on Spotify.
What? It's supposed to say playing Spanish. Okay, it's going to play, and I'm going to say the name. I'm not going to play any of it because what? Why is it in Japanese? Like, I'm going to screenshot this and put this in the video form. Okay, that was weird. I'm going to do a search for oh no. Yeah, Starship did We Built This City. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. But people always saying it's the worst song ever made. And then when I ask why, they're like, oh, it just sucks. It's no good. It's awful. It's terrible. It's no good. Mm-hmm. That's a review. But I like it. It's really catchy. And I know one person who said that she didn't watch The Muppets, the 2011 movie, because in the trailer they played that song, and she knew it was going to be in the movie, and she didn't want to have to listen to it, so she refused to watch that movie. And I told her it's in one scene, and they don't even play the whole song. It's like they play like the first verse and chorus. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. And I know a lot of people like that. Like it's not like the greatest song ever, but it's not the worst song ever. Like what's with people? Which brings me to my next one. It's what I see people saying is the worst music video ever made. Which again, I don't understand. It's Separate Ways Worlds Apart by Journey. And I mean, I read the story behind that video. It was kind of improvised, that there was like a doc or whatever, and they just kind of filmed whatever. They filmed it in like a day or something. I don't remember. It was a rushed music video. It was their first music video to ever do, and it was kind of improvised. And like again, it's like early 80s or late 70s, whatever. Hey Google, when was Separate Ways Worlds Apart made? Can't reach Google. When was Separate Ways Worlds Apart made? It pulled up a Doctor Who thing. Worlds Apart. Doctor Who Worlds Apart. That is not... It's not... Oh, and then right below it was Separate Ways Worlds Apart. Alright, pulling up Wikipedia. It's a song performed by Journey, recorded for their album Frontiers, and released as a single on January 5th, 1983. Alright, let's scroll down to the music video. The music video for Separate Ways was the first single of which the band shot a choreographed video. Previous videos were performances that were taped and edited. Expanded with faithfully to include a montage of the band on tour shot current dance. Steve Perry had been very opposed to making a choreographed video. He'd always say, "We're performers, we're entertainers, but we're not actors," recalled Kane, and we're not a very photogenic band. In the video, which used a shorter single version, the band performs the song while a young woman in a then fashionable white jacket and black leathered skirt walks along the wharf. At some points, Perry and the other members of the band perform right next to her and seem to be singing to her, but she remains oblivious. In the end, she is seen in a bed wearing headphones. John Diaz, the producer, explains that the idea was that she had dreamed the video after falling asleep while listening to the song. Our concepts were so insane. The video was directed by Tom Buckle. I can't speak. I can't speak. And featured the band playing at the Louisa Street Wharf in New Orleans. I thought it was San Francisco for some reason. The video is now infamous for the scenes where the band is pretending to play non-existent instruments, although they do also play their real instruments, including Kane playing his Roland Jupiter 8 up the wall. It features over 50 camera moves with choreography by Columbia Records Art and Creative Services. It was reported that on the first day of shooting, there was a cold breeze coming off the Mississippi River next to the wharf. This made filming all the more difficult on the band and Perry, who... Steve Perry is part of the band. Why did they separate him? Who was seen retreating to his camper to keep warm. This state of affairs was complicated by the presence of Perry's then-girlfriend, Sherry Wayford, on the set. Not only had the band been told that they could not bring wives or girlfriends to the shoot, the other members hated Wayford and her effect on Perry, which created considerable tension, and she was reportedly extremely jealous of the model in the video, local girl Margaret Olmsted, and kept demanding she be taken out of it. There was a big kicking and screaming session, Kane recalled later. Sherry was giving Steve a very bad time about that girl. Perry also had gotten his hair cut short, which Kane found inexplicable since the singer's previous hairstyle had been rockin'. This section's longer than I thought. Let's see. Something popped up on my computer. Okay. Here's a band at their commercial peak, says Adam Dubin, director of many well-received videos. And some idiot decided to film them on a wharf, and here's the worst part. Instead of giving them instruments, let them mime playing imaginary instruments. The director should be shot, and the manager should be shot for allowing his band to be put in this position. Well, that's a little harsh, don't you think? A decade later, it was heavily criticized by Beavis and Butthead, both voiced by Mike Judge, who opened that the video sucks and was horrible, and ridiculed Perry and Sloan's fashion sense. This greatly upset Kane, since he felt Journey's videos had helped make MTV. He called the band's manager repeatedly to ask how they could stop the channel from re-airing the segment. In 1999, MTV shows it as 13th on their list of the 25 worst videos of all time. What? Why? I'm at a loss to explain that video, said Kane. I will never live down those air keyboards. No matter what else I've done in my career, sooner or later people find a way to ask me about the Separate Ways video. The video is a popular video to make shot-by-shot recreations of. During the COVID-19 epidemic, a family made a recreation of the Journey video, which quickly became popular. Which I did see that video, and it was actually a really good recreation. And yeah, I don't know why people hate that video so much. All right. Okay, moving on. I think that is actually the next one, the last one. That is the last one. Okay, I will talk about Justin Bieber a little bit. He's not as hated as he used to be, but he's still, like, it's still... I mentioned Justin Bieber and people still roll their eyes. When he first started, he was kind of cringeworthy because he was a 13-year-old kid singing, and he wasn't very good back then, but for a 13-year-old, he was pretty good. I don't actively listen to him, like, regularly, but I do listen enough that, like, you know, like when he was on Saturday Night Live a few months ago, he was really good. And I played a clip for I have a coworker. She's into like rock music and stuff like that, and so like I didn't show her the video. I said, listen to this and tell me what you think. And I played him singing Lonely. And when I got to the end, she was like, that wasn't bad. That was actually kind of good. I was like, really? You think it was pretty good? And she goes, I normally wouldn't listen to that. That's not my kind of music, but it was okay. It was good. So then I turned it around and I showed her my phone, and it was Justin Bieber. And she goes, I thought something was up. That was horrible. That was like the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm gonna burn my ears out. It's like, you're only saying that because it's Justin Bieber. No, it was horrible. I knew it was horrible all along. It sucked. It was horrible. It's like, your opinion changed once you saw it was Justin Bieber. And then the same thing happened with as another coworker. A few years ago, I played Oh, what was it? Selena Gomez, her first song, like her first single on her first album on like 2004, I think. I don't probably not that far back. Um, I don't remember. Selena, no, not Cena. Selena Gomez and the Scene. There we go. And then go to the first album, Kiss and Tell. That was the first album. That was in 2009. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna play it. um, but yeah, it's back when she was still like, it was like a Disney thing. She was still like a Disney star, and it's a very Disney sounding song. It's not bad. It's just not bad, or I don't know. It's not bad. I really like it. Um, and so then I played Selena Gomez. I played that, and she was like, "Oh, this is pop. I don't like this. This is awful." And I said, "All right, here's another song," and I played "Bad Liar" by Selena Gomez. And I made the mistake. I told her it was Selena Gomez. Both of these are. This is her first song. This is her new song. And if you okay, I played the beginning of Kiss and Tell, and you can kind of get that sound. All right, I'm going to. Let's see if I can find Bad Liar. I don't even know what album it's on. I'm gonna look on the 2015 album. Probably not that one. I don't think it would be on the 2020 album. Oh, maybe it's on the single called Bad Liar. Here's how that one begins. Alright. Copyright reasons, I'm not going to play the whole thing, or much. So, as you can tell, it's very different sounding from Kiss and Tell. And I played both songs, and she was like, wait, those are different songs? Those sound identical. She hasn't changed at all. She still sucks. It sounds like a very Disney sounding song. But you only think that because you know it's Selena Gomez. Because you know it's somebody you hate. You just blanket hate anything that has to do with her. Like, no, Selena Gomez is the lowest, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I hate when people do that. It's like, I'm not a big Bieber fan, but I'll still listen to his music. Like, you don't have to be like the biggest fan in the world or think that they sing the greatest songs ever made to at least acknowledge that they're good. He's talented. Selena Gomez is talented. I really love Selena Gomez. Like, I'm a huge fan. I watch her cooking show. Like, I'm such a huge fan. I watch her cooking show. I don't even watch cooking shows. She's funny. Like, if you, it's on HBO Max. It's called Selena Gomez plus Chef. And every episode is like plus chef's name, and it's hilarious, and I highly recommend it, even if you're not into cooking shows, because I didn't watch it at first. I was like, it's Selena Gomez, I love her, I'm not gonna watch that, but I love her. But then one day I was bored, and I was like, what the heck. I watched the first episode, and I loved it. And like, even if you're not into cooking shows, I highly recommend Selena Gomez plus Chef on HBO Max. So this whole episode has been a very lengthy advertisement for Selena. No, I'm kidding. No. I don't think I would ever get sponsorships. In order to get a sponsorship, you have to get listeners and high numbers, and I have no numbers. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end that there. I have an idea. I know what the next episode's probably going to be. Actually, let me see. I do have a list. I have a long list of episode ideas. And Emery and I have a plan for our next episode together. And in fact, our last episode was supposed to be what our next episode is going to be. Assuming that's going to be it. But then, like, last minute, Emery was like, let's talk about retail workers. And I was like, okay, let's do that. So hopefully our next episode will be about what we were originally going to talk about. But I don't know if that, it all depends on when Emery's available. And we have different schedules. We're not always available at the same time. So, I don't know. It depends on when Emery's available. But I know my next individual episode, or just myself, is going to be about... You'll find out when I do it. Because I'm looking at the list. But I'm going to end this right now. So I'm trying to think if there's anything I can add to like the end, like any announcements or something. I think the only thing I really have is that buy me a coffee thing, which again I'm not expecting anyone to do anything. Ramblers. Yeah, just shouting random things. I'm going to stop recording and post this now.